still taste the dust of that prison yard. The clang of the siren was still ringing in my ears as me and Daryl ran for the woods. Daryl was my cellmate for 3 years, mean son of a bitch, but he knew how to cut fences, and he had the guts to make a run for it. "Come on, man, don't look back. Keep your damn legs moving. Ain't no way I'm rotting in that hole, Day," Daryl said, panting. My lungs burned. My chest felt like fire. Every step slipped on the wet grass, my prison shoes soaked through. But I ran. I ran like hell. Sirens wailed. Shouts echoed behind us. Flashlights cut across the yard like swinging blades, stabbing through the night. We reached the fence. Daryl pulled a shiv he'd sharpened from scrap metal, jammed it into the wire, pried a gap big enough for us to squeeze through. Grunting, "Go, go, man, before they see us," I barked. The barbs bit into my palms, tore skin from my arms as I shoved through. Warm blood slicked my fingers. Didn't matter. Freedom was bleeding on the other side. Daryl with a low laugh. "Sweet mother of mercy, we're out, we're goddamn out." Guards shouted behind us, voices tangled with the bark of dogs. A spotlight swept across the fence, catching empty air just seconds too late. A gunshot cracked the night, a bullet snapping past the trees. "Jesus Christ, they're shooting!" I yelled. Daryl grabbed my arm. "Don't stop. You stop, you're dead. Move your ass." We plunged into the trees, branches slapping our faces, ripping at our clothes. The ground turned soft, mud sucking at our shoes with every step. The prison behind us shrank, the lights dimmed, the sirens muffled, until sudden silence. Dogs barking fade out. The siren cuts away, replaced by nothing but our ragged breathing. Everything went quiet, like the woods swallowed the sound whole. "You hear that? Where the hell'd they go? The dogs, the sirens." "It's gone," I whispered. Daryl spitted on the ground. "Good. Let it be gone. We stick to the trees. Stay low. By sunrise, we'll be ghosts." But it didn't feel like freedom. It felt like we'd broken out of one prison, only to run straight into another. We pushed deeper into the dark. No moon, just branches clawing at our faces, roots catching our boots. The kind of dark that swallows you whole, where even your own breath feels too loud. "Think they'll follow us in here?" I asked. Daryl trying to sound braver than he felt, flicking a lighter. "They got dogs. Dogs don't care about trees. Just keep moving." The flare of his lighter carved his face out of the shadows, eyes wide, skin slick with sweat. He lit a cigarette, hands shaking so bad he nearly dropped it. For a second, the smoke curled up, then the dark swallowed the glow. "Where the hell we even going?" I asked with gritted teeth. Grinning in the dark, smoke slipping from his mouth. "Doesn't matter. Anywhere but back there," said Daryl. But the forest felt wrong, like it was watching. Each branch creaked like a whisper. Each shadow moved when it shouldn't. That's when I noticed the smell. Wet iron, like rust or blood. I covered my nose. "You smell that?" Daryl paused and sniffed the air. "Dead animal. Don't think about it." We found a clearing and collapsed, lungs burning, trying to catch our breath. The dirt was damp. Too damp. Exhaling smoke, voice low and eyes darting. "You hear that?" Daryl asked. "Hear what?" I said, holding still. At first I thought it was the wind, but no. Too steady. Too heavy. Daryl frowned, staring into the tree line with a shaking voice. "Thought I heard. Never mind." I pressed him. "No. Tell me." "What did you hear?" Snapping louder than he meant to. "Nothing, all right? Just shut up for a second." Silence fell. But it wasn't empty. It pressed down on us, thick, crawling into our bones. And in that silence, I swear I heard it too, the crunch of something moving, slow, careful, just beyond the trees. That was the first time. The first time I thought something else was out there besides the law. Hours passed. We stuck close, whispering when we had to, mostly just breathing in the dark so we didn't give ourselves away. The forest flattened time. One heartbeat felt like a cheap clock, another like a year. "Daryl, you awake?" I whispered. With a soft voice, he responded, "Yeah, don't make any sudden moves." Then we heard it. A howl. Long, rolling through the trunks like someone had cracked an old bell. Low and wrong. Not the staccato yip of coyotes, not the single note of a hound. It shook the leaves and left a taste of iron in my mouth, my voice trembling. "Daryl, that ain't no hound." Daryl forced a laugh. "Coyotes, just damn coyotes." He sounded like he was trying to convince himself. The laugh broke on the word. I didn't believe him. The howl came again, closer this time, threaded with something that sounded like a human voice trying to speak through a mouth full of needles. It made the hair on my arms stand up and my hands go cold. Maybe it's a pack. Packs get bold when they're hungry, Daryl said with a low voice without looking at me. Shaking my head. Packs don't tear a deer like. We found the carcass by accident. Or maybe the woods showed it to us, because it felt like the trees dragged our eyes to it. One step into a thin moonlit patch and there it was. A deer ripped open, entrails spilled over damp leaves like someone had emptied a bag of ropes. Steam rose off the dark meat in the cold air, a sick mist. Gagging, I clamped my hand over my mouth. Jesus Christ! Daryl jerked me forward with his eyes wide. "Don't look at it. Keep moving." But I couldn't. The way the ribs had been crushed. Clean, like something had used a vice. The head was half crushed, as if bitten with a force that ignored bone. And the smell, not just blood, something metallic and old, like the air inside a morgue. "This ain't right," I muttered. "This ain't animals." Daryl, with trembling fingers, grabbed my shoulder. "Whatever it was, it's gone now. Let's go, man. We don't need to be here." We skirted the clearing, boots soft in mud, hearts trying to outrun our own footsteps. I kept my eyes on the ground. Then I saw the tracks. At first I thought they were wolf prints, deep, splayed claws, circles stamped in the mud. But the spacing was wrong, the stride too long. And then there were the other marks, elongated, like something had knelt and dragged its knuckles. 3 deep scratches, then another set of prints that looked almost human, but stretched narrow and wrong, like someone had stood on the tips of their toes and walked. "Daryl, look," I whispered. He leaned down. "What the hell? Those ain't animal." We traced them with the tip of a boot. The prints cut a path toward the denser part of the wood and stopped at the base of an ancient oak. The earth there was churned like someone had been pacing, over and over. The bark was gouged, long vertical slashes that didn't match any claw I'd seen. Between the scars there were tiny teeth marks, neat and deliberate, as if whatever had done it had inspected the tree. "This thing's been watching stuff for a while," I said, with his voice cracking. "Maybe," Daryl responded. We pressed back into shadow, breath held. The silence after that howl was heavier than any sound. It felt like the forest was waiting, like we were the wrong note in a song the trees had already learned. Then, soft as a whisper, close enough that I could feel it through my skin, something moved. Not a branch, not a rustle. A metallic inhale, like air sucked through a throat that couldn't quite close. I turned to Daryl. "Don't, just don't," he barked. We stood there, 2 fugitives in a place that didn't belong to us. And I knew the law wasn't the only hunter out here. Something else was hungry. Something clever enough to leave clues, patient enough to wait. And somewhere beyond the trunks, something answered the night with a sound that was half breath, half laughter. A branch snapped behind us, not the casual snap of a falling limb. A deliberate, precise break. Something was moving into the clearing. Something that didn't sound like any animal I knew. Later that night, flashlight beams cut through the woods. The law had caught up. We heard the officer's voice, distant, barking orders. This was, spread out." We crouched low in the bush, hardly daring to breathe. The dogs barked like they'd caught a scent, chains rattling as handlers pushed them forward. Then, silence. A silence so sudden it felt wrong. Then one sharp yelp from a dog, cut off, choked, like a throat being slit. And then came the screaming. Officers, closer now, panicked, shouting over the chaos. "What the hell is that?" Gunshots cracked through the night, echoing between the trees. Muzzle flashes flickered like lightning bugs, but the screaming didn't stop. It grew worse, wet, ragged, the kind of sound that sticks to your ribs. "Daryl, what's happening out there?" I whispered. Daryl responded, his voice sharp but shaking underneath. "Don't you dare move. Don't breathe too damn loud." Through the trees, shadows danced in the strobing light of gunfire. Something big. Too big. It moved wrong, low at first, then upright. Fast. Faster than any man, faster than any beast had a right to. The officers, they weren't screaming long. One of them got dragged across the dirt, his flashlight spinning until it cut out. Another tried running. God, I can still hear it. His boots slamming against the ground before something pounced on him with a crack that wasn't branches, it was bone. "That ain't no man, Daryl," I said, barely audible, gritting his teeth, whispering harsh. "Shut up. Just shut up. Don't let it hear you." But it already had. I swear it already had. We stayed crouched in the bush. The smell of gunpowder and something else drifted toward us. Something metallic, sharp, like hot pennies pressed against my tongue. Blood. Fresh. The woods weren't quiet anymore. They were alive with chaos. Branches snapping, men screaming, dogs howling one moment, then silence the next. I began whispering. We gotta move, Daryl. If we stay here..." Daryl cut me off. "You move now. You die. You hear me? Whatever's out there, it's tearing them apart. We wait till it's done." But waiting felt like begging to die. Through the trees, I caught glimpses. A figure, huge shoulders hunched, then straightening, long arms. It moved between the flashlight beams so quick I thought my eyes were lying. But then, it stopped. The forest went still, too still. We heard an officer's voice, trembling and desperate. "Back! Stay back!" A single shot cracked, then a howl. Not like a dog, not like anything I'd heard before. It was long, low, and it shook the ground beneath my boots. "That ain't no man," I said. "Shut your damn mouth," Daryl said through gritted teeth. Then the thing moved again. Heavy footsteps in the dirt, leaves crunching, coming closer. I pressed myself down into the mud, biting my lip till I tasted blood. Daryl's hand clamped over my mouth. Through the bush I saw it, tall, towering. Its back bent like it was too big for its own bones. Its eyes caught the flashlight beams, glowing, pale, like coals left to die in a fire. Its muzzle was wet, dark. I didn't have to guess what with. It sniffed the air, snarled. My chest locked tight, like if I breathed I'd give myself away. Muffled under Daryl's hand, I breathed a thought-like whisper. "Please, keep walking." The creature crouched low, claws digging into the earth. Then, with a sudden lunge, it vanished back into the trees, chasing something else. I exhaled so hard I thought my lungs would collapse. You see what I mean now? That's no fight we can win. We move when it moves. Stay close, Daryl said with a harsh whisper. So we crawled, inch by inch through the mud, past bodies. One of the officers lay half buried in the leaves, his throat torn open like wet paper. His eyes stared right at me. Empty. Another had his hand still gripping his pistol, but his arm wasn't attached anymore. I choked back a sob. "God help us," I whispered. "God ain't here," Daryl said with a low snarl, and he was right. Because the deeper we crawled, the more I knew. Whatever was hunting out here, it wasn't finished. Not with them. Not with us. We ran deeper into the woods, but the forest had changed. It wasn't just trees and wind anymore. It watched us. The silence was wrong. Too full, too thick. Even the moon looked like it wanted to hide. Branches snapped. Behind us, beside us. Something moved just beyond the light. Not fast, not hunting, following. "You hear that? It's tracking us," Daryl said while panting. I wanted to tell him no. Lie. Say it was just an animal. But I heard it too. Heavy. Slow. Like it knew we were running out of places to go. Then it stepped out with a low growl. It was taller than any man I've ever seen, fur like rotting moss. Its mouth hung open, drooling red, eyes yellow, burning, watching. "You got to be kidding me," Daryl said. I stood there shaking, frozen in fear. Daryl raised his shiv. "You want me? Come on then, you ugly bastard." I couldn't believe him, standing there, blade in hand, still shaking, but not stepping back. Braver than I was. Stupider, maybe. But it didn't charge, not yet. It stalked, slow, deliberate, circling like it had all the time in the world, like it wanted us to feel every second of what was coming. Daryl's voice, lower now, muttering, "It's playing with us." I responded in a whisper. "What does it want?" "Obviously to tear something open," Daryl said. The air got colder. I could hear my pulse, hear his breathing, and over it all the thing's claws in the dirt, scraping, waiting. It gave a heavy exhale, slow, almost amused. I thought prison was hell. I thought I'd seen the worst men could do. But I was wrong. Hell wasn't a place. It wasn't bars and chains. Hell had teeth and claws, and it had found us out here. With his voice cracking, "If it jumps me, run. You hear me?" said Daryl. "I'm not leaving you," I muttered. Daryl snarled. "I said run." Then, silence. The kind that means something's about to die. It moved, faster than anything that size should. A shadow, a storm, a monster. Daryl began screaming, a mixture of rage and agony. "Ah! Get off me!" I froze, just froze. It had him. The thing's jaws locked into his shoulder, dragging him down like he weighted nothing. "Daryl!" I desperately yelled. Daryl barked through clenched teeth. "Run! Damn it! Run!" The creature snarled and then slammed him against a tree. Daryl began spitting up blood. I couldn't look away. It wasn't just killing him, it was enjoying it, dragging those claws slow, deliberate across his chest, like it wanted him to feel every second. Daryl's screams ripped through the forest. I stood there sobbing. "Stop! Please, stop!" But it wasn't stopping. Hell didn't stop. Hell only fed. The beast let out a roar, deep, shaking the earth. Blood hit the ground in heavy drops, and in that moment, I knew. One of us was already gone. The only question left was whether I'd be next. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. All I could hear was Daryl's bones snapping like dry sticks, his life pouring out in wet, choking gasps. I stood there, paralyzed in horror, and out of nowhere, a rifle shot cracked through the night, echoing sharp, splitting the air. The monster jerked, a burst of smoke from its side. It howled, a sound like steel grinding against stone. Another rifle shot rang through the air. Then I heard a voice, gravelly and commanding. "Move, boy, now!" The creature howled as it clawed at dirt in pain. I don't remember choosing to run. My legs just obeyed the voice. Through the brush, stumbling, gasping, until I saw him. An old man, beard white as snow, rifle smoking in his hands. Eyes sharp, not wild, but knowing. He grabbed me by my arm and dragged me to an old cabin. I stumbled inside and fell to the floor. I heard the door slam and looked to see the old man put an iron bar across it. Gasping and broken, I began to mutter. "Daryl, oh God, The old man cut me off. "He's gone, son. You'd be gone too if I didn't find you." What the hell was that?" I said in a low voice. "Dogman," the old man said as he cocked his rifle. "Not just a story. Not just a beast. A curse that wears the skin of a wolf but walks like us." The word felt heavy, like he'd named something that should never have a name. He walked to the corner of the cabin and picked up an old fishing tackle box. He opened it, revealing the gleam of bullets, dull silver catching the light of his lantern. Silver. Only thing that'll drop it for good. He grunted. And if the bullets don't kill it? I asked. The old man slowly loaded the rifle. Then we don't live long enough to worry about it. Me and my friend were just two inmates trying to find freedom. And now, I was trapped in a cabin with a stranger, and a nightmare outside that wasn't done hunting. We heard the beast's snarls outside, claws raking wood as it circled the cabin. I need to know what the hell's happening. Why me? Why now? Not just you. That thing's been in these woods long before either of us. It hunts, and once it tastes blood, it don't stop. The old man explained. A thud rattled the cabin. Dust drifted from the rafters. I tried to breathe, but my chest still felt locked up, and then, like some dam breaking, the words just spilled out. I was in prison. Armed robbery. Me and Daryl. We thought we could run. Thought we could be free out here. But now, he's dead 'cause of me. 'Cause I dragged him into this. Silence engulfed us, except the faint growl circling the cabin. The old man spoke. Son, you didn't bring that monster. It's been here a long time. Longer than these woods been mapped. Then why you? I said. Why are you out here hunting it alone? The old man exhaled slowly. His rifle creaked as he gripped it tighter. Because that dog man ain't just any beast. 20 years back it took my daughter. Tore her from my arms one night when the moon was high. Left nothing but blood in the snow. I swore I'd hunt it till I put silver through its black heart. It's the same one, boy. I seen the scar across its muzzle. I know it. This one's mine. The room felt colder after his words, like the walls themselves knew the story. My crime, my guilt, his loss, his vengeance. Both of us trapped in a wooden box, with a nightmare clawing to get in. The old man raised his rifle. Get some rest while you can. When it comes through, you'll need more than breath to live. I couldn't rest. Not with Daryl's scream still echoing in my skull. Not with the old man's grief hanging heavier than the air. And not with the dog man, still waiting. Boom! A clawed fist slams against the door. Get back from that door, the old man shouted. It wasn't circling anymore, it was coming in. Another slam followed by a low growl that vibrated the walls. We can't hold it. That thing'll tear straight through, I cried, stumbling back. Then we don't hold it. We kill it, the old man said with a voice like iron. Crash! A claw punches clean through the planks, snapping boards like twigs. Fingers like daggers curl through, grasping, swiping air. The hand, was long as a man's forearm, and it was inside. Jesus Christ, look at the size of it, I yelled. The old man snapped at me. Eyes up, boy. Fear gets you killed faster than claws do. The old man fired. The claws jerked back with a wet howl. Shards of wood scattered across the floor. You hit it, tell me you hit it, I said, coughing through the smoke. I hit it. Question is, did it matter? He responded. The beast slammed its weight against the wall this time. The entire cabin rocked. Boards cracked. Rafters groaned. The walls. They weren't walls anymore. They were paper. And that thing was the fire. It's gonna bring the whole place down, I shouted. Let it try. I've been waiting 20 years for this night. Ain't running now. The beast roared, guttural, inhuman, shaking the glass in the lantern. Another boom. Now the window shattered inward, claws raking. It's inside! It's inside! I shrieked, covering my head. The old man snarled back. Not yet! Not while I still breathe. The fire in his eyes scared me almost as much as the beast. This wasn't just survival to him. It was vengeance. The lantern tipped, oil spilled, and flames hissed across the floorboards. Fire! God damn it, it's burning! I said frantically. The old man snarled. Better it burns than we let that devil walk away. Then another thunderous crash. Half of the door caved inward, hanging from one hinge. The beast face flashed in the glow, eyes burning yellow, muzzle scarred, teeth slick with fresh blood. I saw it. The scar. The one he swore on. This wasn't a monster. It was his monster. My voice hoarse and choking on fear. You weren't lying. It's the same one. The old man began to shout, voice cracking with rage. I told you! 20 winters. I've hunted that scarred bastard. Tonight, it dies. The dogman roared again, lunging halfway through the doorway. A rifle blast echoed, violent. The lantern exploded, glass shattered, and the fire roared higher. And then everything was fire and teeth and screams. The cabin became a battlefield. And survival wasn't a promise. It was a prayer. The old man yelled over the roars of the beast. Get up, boy! Fight, damn you. Fight, or die in that corner. As he slid another rifle in the tackle box at my feet. Half in terror and half in rage, I gasped. I didn't come out here to die. But the truth was, I didn't come out here to live either. Not after prison, not after Daryl. Maybe this was all that was left for me. One last fight against the dark. The old man rifle cracked again, echoing like thunder in hell. The dogman reeled back, snarling, half its face scorched by flame and lead. It wouldn't die. God help me. It wouldn't die. Bullets hit like stones against armor made of fury and hunger. The beast slammed its shoulder through the doorframe. Splinters rained down. Wood screamed and the roof trembled. The old man snarled through clenched teeth. Reload! Aim for the eyes. Go for the damn eyes. I fumbled with the rifle. My hands can't see through the smoke. Feel it, boy. That's how we fought before we could see. The air was molten, smoke thick as tar, and through it, those eyes, yellow, patient, smiling. It's taunting us, I said in a low voice. Let it. I'll tear that grin off its skull myself. The old man growled, almost sounding feral himself. The old man charged. Boom! Another shot, a roar of pain. The dogman staggered, but its claws swiped. I still remember the wet, ripping sound. No! I screamed. The old man body and rifle hit the floorboard. He coughed and gasped. Don't. Stop. Finish it, he said in a weak voice. His blood pooled black in the firelight, and for the first time, the fire reflected in my eyes. The dogman's shadow loomed, massive, hunched, snarling. Ash fell like snow as the roof creaked. You killed him, I growled low and furiously. The beast stepped closer, heavy, deliberate. A low rumble rose from its chest. My voice grew stronger, trembling with rage. You killed Daryl. You killed him too. I could feel the rifle, hot, slick with blood in my hands again. Could hear the old man's voice echo in my skull. Fear gets you killed faster than claws do. In the rifle chamber there was one last round. The beast leaned in, close enough to smell rot and sulfur. I whispered, Then let's die together. Boom. Point-blank shot. The roar of the blast swallowed everything. Fire, screams, the cabin itself. The cabin came apart in a breath of fire and ash. I don't remember hitting the ground. Only the sound, that horrible, fading howl carried out into the woods. When I came to, the world was quiet again. Too quiet. Just smoke and snow, and the smell. Burnt wood, blood, and something fouler, like wet fur and rot. I didn't see the body of the beast, just claw marks, deep ones, leading back into the trees. Old man, I barely whispered. No answer, just the pop of cooling embers and the wind whispering through what used to be the roof. Half the cabin was gone. The rest, a blackened skeleton of wood and sorrow. I dragged myself up, every muscle screaming. The world swayed, bleeding gray and orange through the smoke. And then, I saw it. Half buried in soot lay a small leather book. Edges charred, pages warped and blackened. The old man's journal. You stubborn bastard, I said. The book creaked as it opened. Ash falling from the spine. Entry 67. Its hunts by scent. Eyes see through smoke. Silver, is effective. God forgive me. I think I turned one once. Turned one? I whispered in confusion. I turned the page, and the ink bled like old blood. Sketches, drawn in shaking hands, of a man half transformed. Claws sprouting from pale fingers, teeth breaking through lips that still looked human. That's when I noticed it, just past the journal, buried in the ashes. What the hell? I whispered. It was a hand. Human once, but not anymore. Skin split down the center, bones curved forward, the flesh still twitched. Oh God, I said, covering my mouth. I stumbled back. But the journal was open to one last line, fresh ink, written after the fire started. If you find this, I failed. It wasn't hunting me. It was protecting something. A distant howl, faint, mournful, echoed from deep in the forest. The sound carried over the snow like a memory, and I realized the claw marks in the ashes. They weren't leading away. They lead underneath, right where the floorboards used to be. Crack, a board shifted. Then a low guttural growl came from beneath the ground. Oh no, I whispered. I watched as the floorboards lifted, revealing a pair of yellow eyes, staring at me. It was never gone. It was waiting.